So if you've got a client and they're doing really, really well with their low back pain recovery, they're almost ready to return to work, or they've already gone back to work, but you just want to leave them in a little bit better state in which, than in which you found them. These are some of the more challenging exercises that I like to use. This first one is back rowing, flat back. We're going to have the legs long through the shoulder rests. If your client doesn't have the hamstring length, you can definitely pop a platform extender underneath their bums just to lift them up a little bit. You can also have the legs on the outsides nice and wide and a bit of abduction. So I've got the straps shortened here to make sure that we're going to get more range, and we're going to have the body nice and tall in neutral spine. Arms are long. First step is to little bicep curl. And when we're going to go through that bicep curl, we're going to add a little bit of trunk extension from the hips, I should say. So it's not trunk extension, sorry, hip extension. We're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling, sitting up nice and tall. So right now, there's quite a bit of posterior chain work. We're going to eccentrically lengthen to fold forward, send the arms down alongside the body, sweep them out to the side, pinkies up, dip them back down, and then rolling up to stack. So we should finish somewhere about here. One more time, bend the elbows in, add a little bit of hip extension, sitting up tall. We're reaching up towards the ceiling, palms turn to face the floor. We're gonna send the arms back, elbows up and wide, diving down, and then back up. So from here, we're gonna do one more time, leaning back, up tall, lots of long lever in that lumbar spinal region, coming back down, wide and lifted, diving in and coming up. So I know that one takes quite a bit of choreography. If it's too challenging, I would honestly just stick with a simpler version, which would just be from here, tall, and then getting that nice eccentric lengthening in the paraspinals, and then coming back up again. So one more time, leaning back, up. You can cut out all the fancy arm work if it's just too challenging. But it is really nice to kind of get this butterfly movement in the shoulders. It can feel quite nice. So next thing we're going to be doing is feet in straps. I'm going to have 1.5 springs. I'm at my footwork settings, which is 1 and 1. We're going to take the length out of the straps here, and we're going to go onto our backs for long spine. And this is an advanced version of long spine. Let's just make sure these aren't twisted. Okay, so feet in straps, one foot in and then the other, legs long. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm settled into a nice position, and we're gonna start with those legs on that long diagonal. So we're gonna reach up, peel the spine off of the carriage here. We're going to press away into a wide, sort of a shoulder width. We're gonna keep the hips lifted. We're gonna press through the straps, get that posterior chain as the back starts to roll down, feet together. So come on up, lift and peel, separate, keep the height here, press the feet, energy in the straps, not the backs of the knees, and we're gonna come down. So for some individuals, you really have to balance how much weight you're doing. If it's too light, they don't have anything to push against. If it's too heavy, you risk sort of straining the lumbar spine. So what I might do is actually start with standard long spine, which is more like this. Up and separate, drop the hips first, and then legs. So you're gonna be getting a little bit more hamstrings with this one, but it might be a good place to start with your client. Moving on, we're gonna go into tendon stretch. We're gonna have the foot bar and the gear bar. Sorry, the foot bar is gonna be at the top, gear bar is at 2, stopper is at 2. You can also be at 1 and 1 depending on your client. I also am going to stay at 1.5 springs for this one. So tendon stretch is another advanced reformer exercise. We're gonna have the feet on the edge of the carriage. You can also use a sticky mat if you find that your client's feet get a little bit sweaty. That happens, it's natural. We're not gonna judge. Hands are nice and wide, palms are facing back. Some people like to have their hands here, but I don't recommend it, even though they might feel more secure. It does make the exercise a lot harder to do. So if you can get them to buy into being in this position. It's kind of a safer way to be. So we've got the balls of the feet on the edge of the carriage. We're going to pick up the pelvis. Find that nice forward bend here. So this position can be quite tricky for a lot of people. They do get quite scared being in this inverted position, but it's really crucial that we maintain lumbar flexion. So we're going to press out here, all the way out, and then scoop to come back in. So there's a lot of lumbar flexion that your client needs to maintain in order to complete the exercise. So if you have a client and they press out and they lose the flexion and they go into extension, it can be really hard to find the momentum to swing back up. Again, a bit of a challenging exercise, so please be careful when you do this one, but if you get it right, it can be a lot of fun.